This is funny. Just read an article on Canada Free Press. Here we go. Democrat candidates for Minneapolis mayor. Let's take the guns away from the police. This is written by Dan Calabrese. That's Calabrese. Date of it is July 27th, 2017. This is the logical next step for the left on this, isn't it? Well, let's slow down a little bit and look at their big picture strategy, since the left often thinks it's won more people over to its point of view than it really has. Objective: convince the public that the police are the enemy, more of a threat to them than the criminals. State Representative and Minneapolis mayoral candidate Raymond Den, that's D-E-H-N, is calling for major policing changes, proposing to take away guns from the majority of officers. Den is one of several candidates running to beat current Minneapolis Mayor Betsy Hodges in the fall. He recently won the support of voters at a Democratic farm or labor convention, and now his call to disarm police of their side guns is garnering major attention. Quote, I'm not saying they don't have access to that, just like they have access to more lethal weapons in their cars. I would believe they would still have access to their guns in their cars, said Den. Okay, so let me understand this. This recent shooting that took place of that 40-year-old woman from Australia, didn't that officer have access to his weapon in his car? Huh? Just thought I'd ask that question. Den says there needs to be a drastic change in how officers are trained. He would be open to officers using other means to protect themselves, like a nightstick or pepper spray. Hey, anyone remember the shooting that took place in California a number of years ago? Two men dressed in battle armor, full armor, robbed a bank, and there was an insane shootout in the streets in Southern California. What ended up happening was, since the police were all outgunned, they ended up breaking into and getting access to weapons in gun stores, high caliber weapons, which they were eventually able to take the perpetrators down. After that horrific event, police were given high capacity, I believe fully automatic weapons. High caliber, fully automatic weapons. So here you've got this Democrat mental degenerate wanting to disarm the police. And he goes on to say that, again, I think as we look at how to change policies and how we get officers not to react, to use their guns in situations, but learning skills around de-escalation training, I think, are important. Mayor Hodges disagrees with Den's proposal. Quote, and if we're going to talk about changes in gun policy, we shouldn't start with police officers who are going to be operating in a world with people who have guns. End of quote, said Hodges. Den says the details of his no-gun proposal are still in the early stages, and he wants to sit down with police officers and come up with a strategy that keeps both the community and the law enforcement safe. But the head of the police union, Lieutenant Bob Kroll, says there's not a chance this idea will fly with any cop. You need to also take a look at the crime rates in Minneapolis. They're on the rise. Totally insane. Well, you sort of know what I think. We got a good idea what this Democratic mayoral candidate thinks. We know what Mayor Betsy Hodges thinks. question now is, what do you think? Read the article. Most interesting.